Yes, please tell.
Okay, so so at this Consciously Positive platform, today's topic is the magic, the transparent magic with you. Now, what do you mean by transparent magic? अब मैजिक के बारे में तो आप लोगों ने सुना है, जादू क्या होता है उसके बारे में भी सुना, but you also know beneath every magic there is a logical way of one speak, and you always understood that जो भी जादू वो दिखाता है, जो भी जादू के बारे में बात करता है, तो it's like more like an हाथ की सफाई or kind of perception that gets created. So the first and foremost understanding about this topic is, so whatever magic that we want to develop in life, and the first premise that we want to talk about is that magic lies with you. But how and what and when and where? Today's topic is going to make us uncover all those conversations. So those who know me, I'm Vinay. Those who doesn't know me, I'm also Vinay, and I am into life coaching and business coaching. I consult many organizations, and I enable culture transformations, and I also do consulting assignments for various owner-driven organizations and small medium entrepreneurs. So I've seen in my career since last 15 years in my work, I have seen that people and people's attitude and behavior is very hard to change. It's very difficult to change because we as human beings have come from our own experiences and our own beliefs and our patterns of the way we are to live. And but there is a way. How can we ensure that in our journey of life, in our journey of transformation, or probably going forward and growth, how can we ensure that the human behavior can also grow and go out of the pattern way of being? So today's conversation or today's topic is going to touch a bit about how can we uncover the real magic within us. Now, consider you have a magic mirror in your hand, and I'm going to, pull up an anecdote or pull up a pull up stories in the past, in the ancient past, when people have magic mirrors in front of them or magic globe in front of them who could tell one's past, present, and future. And consider you have right now in front of you who can ensure that you are able to see who you really are, and based on who you really are, you are creating your future. You're creating a magic in your way of being, which can make you do and what you have in your life. Whether it is your physical area, whether it is your career or financial area, or whether it is your relationship area, or whether it is about creating magic about your popularity or whatever you want to create in your life. But the first thing that you start with is the magic mirror in your hand, which will tell you about yourself, which will tell you where you are, so that you can go where you want to be. आपके पास एक ऐसा जादू का एक शीशा है या आईना है जिसको आप देखते हैं, और उस देखने के बाद आप समझते हैं अपने आप को, अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं, अपने ऊपर काम करते हैं, सो दैट आप वो निर्माण कर पाए अपने जीवन में जो आप बनना चाहते हैं गोइंग फॉरवर्ड. So I'll start with an example, which will give you some idea about what am I really talking about. So today, my wife has gone to her mother's place, and as a part of the daily ritual or the daily routine or a mundane activity, maid comes in my house and she started asking for various things that this is not available, this is not available. And I was busy in my work. The first thing I got thought about was the frustrated thought. What the hell it is? She doesn't know her responsibility. She doesn't know what she has to do. Daily she comes up and she just asks for various things. She doesn't know where things are. Why she's it disturbing me? I'm in the middle of a creative work. and I get disturbed and distracted. And I was very upset about it. And suddenly a jhatka laga mujhe laga ki, what am I really doing? So I thought that the person, I mean, I started thinking the person who has who's come in front of me and asking various things and giving me my way of being, which is a frustrated and angry. And this is where I need to work on. But how I need to work on is something I'm going to talk about today. What exactly? We've been listening to various people, various healers, various speakers. हमें अपनी जर्नी जीनी है और हमें अपने ऊपर काम करना है. ये हमारी जर्नी है और हमें अपने ऊपर काम. But the magic is what specific area that we need to work. हम क्या ऐसा काम करें अपने ऊपर, हम कौन सा अपना काम करें अपने ऊपर ताकि हम वो अकम्प्लिश कर पाए जो हम अकम्प्लिश करना चाहते. क्या चीज, नहीं तो बहुत जेनेरिक हो जाता. You see a very generic thing that comes up to us that okay, what I really need to do, मुझे करना क्या चाहिए. That is the first premise. The second premise is how often you have sought feedback from people that मुझे अब मेरे बारे में बताओ कि मैं क्या चीज हूँ, so that मैं अपने ऊपर काम कर सकूं और मैं improve कर सकूं. And when you're very wise, you even tell, okay, please give me critical feedback so that I would work on myself. Specifically, the new age, the new budding entrepreneurs or new budding trainers or coaches who have been given a premise that कि मुझे अपने ऊपर काम करना है. पर पॉइंट ये आता है कि जैसे ही उनको क्रिटिकल फीडबैक दिया जाता है, moment they are given critical feedback, they get upset. Oh, I have been doing work in so many ages and I know my work, I'm doing all the things. Why the hell the person is giving me that critical feedback? But on the face of it, you will always tell the person, okay, fine, thank you for the feedback. But deep down, you're not very happy. So, what could be the mechanism? What could be the mechanism where you don't have to seek for the feedback? Where you don't have to ask people that this is the area that I need to work on so that I can become what I want to become. क्या mechanism हो सकता है? What is the autopilot thing that can happen with you, which can give you idea day in day out so that you become proactive rather than reactive when people give you feedback, or probably when people give you something that you need to work on yourself. Now, this conversation that I had about giving and delivering this topic about the magic in your hand, the transparent magic in your hand, came to me when I was listening to one of the talks at the Consciously Positive, and I was consistently being being asked. I mean, वहाँ पे जो speaker था, I don't want to name the speaker, but वो कह रहा था कि आपको अपने ऊपर काम करना है, ये आपकी जर्नी है, अपने ऊपर काम करना है. I was like wondering कि मुझे क्या करना है अपने ऊपर काम, exactly क्या करना है. So today I'm going to just talk about that. So hold your breath, and I'm going to share with you the next 20 minutes that framework which can change and transform your life. If you want, normally this framework that I share and talk about, it takes many hours for people to work on themselves. But yes, we have on 20 minutes. You can probably see for yourself how would you like to work on yourself. Now you would be wondering, Sunday morning है, क्या बता रहे हो अपने ऊपर काम करने के लिए, रिलैक्स करने का टाइम है, क्या मुझे अपने ऊपर काम करना है. मैं तो दुनिया को सिखाने के लिए हूँ, मुझे तो बहुत कुछ आता है, मैं तो चेंज कर सकता हूँ दुनिया को, मेरे को तो इतना समझ आती है, क्या बता रहे हो आप मुझे. But in the whole scheme of things, if you really think that you don't want to work on yourself on specific areas, these are the next 20 minutes for you. Now, this framework starts with first premise, the first action or first trigger. जब भी हमें transformation चाहिए, whenever you want to seek transformation or change or want to grow and become better and have a magical life, the first thing is a trigger outside By default, we are not programmed to work on our own self by default. There has to be a trigger. Either it has to be a proactive trigger or it can be a reactive trigger. So the first trigger comes up for you is when people outside behave in a certain way. When situations outside are the way they are. When people give some inappropriate challenges for you to deal and handle with, whether you are at work or whether you are at home or whether you are dealing with some authority people, आपके सामने कई सिचुएशंस ऐसी आएंगे जहां पे आपको कई मौके मिलेंगे ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करने के लिए. But exactly what is going to happen is something very important. The first thing is trigger. The trigger क्या हो सकता है? Consider you are sitting with your boss and you have come with a wonderful idea about making a growth in your organization. You have got detailed plan of how you can grow in the organization. How the organization can grow. We have a wonderful business idea. And we are very excited. You have done a lot of research and you got a lot of insights. And suddenly your boss says, no, this is not going to work at all. Just go. Just forget it. And don't waste my time in these stupid ideas. You got to do and focus on this particular task only. I mean, that is the most important task that you have to focus right now. Forget about those ideas. I don't want these ideas anymore. I mean, I'm been sick of these ideas. No idea will ever work. But you are not focusing on your work. You're getting distracted. You are supposed to do your KRA and you are not doing it. And you become very disappointed and you suddenly make up your mind. Okay, I've spent a lot of time working in this organization and I've seen many experiences whenever I come with an idea and my boss will never give a positive response, never appreciates that I've worked on this idea, worked on many, many principles, और वो मुझे कभी भी आशीर्वाद तो छोड़ो, मुझे appreciate भी नहीं करता है. And you stop doing it going forward. I will stay aloof. I will stay where am I. That is one situation. Consider there is another situation when you are having a conversation with your wife or your friend, and suddenly you come up with something, and there is a conflicting thought that have arisen, and the person which is in front of you started shouting and started nagging at you. More importantly, is maybe it's your wife or spouse or a husband, and the person starts nagging, the person starts shouting at you, screaming at you, and you made up your mind, okay, never in my life I will ever talk to this person, specifically whenever I have to deal with my challenges. I will never ever share my challenges with that person, my spouse, because my spouse will never ever understand, and you will go aloof and you will go to your own terms and you will solve your own challenges, become stressful going forward, and so on and so forth. Now you get an idea about the triggers. So there are many triggers in your life. There are many times that you are becoming uncomfortable when somebody is behaving in a certain way. Consider every behavior is a trigger, and also consider that you become sad about it, you become disappointed about it. That becomes the first trigger. Now, the second step in working upon yourself and holding that magic wand or mirror or becoming powerful and or become next powerful being going forward. The second step is what is the underlying belief that you carry? You got to work on that. Let's say if your boss is rejecting your idea, if your spouse is shouting and screaming and nagging at you, if your maid is behaving irresponsible at your home, so what is the underlying belief that you have? तो पहला अंडरलाइन बिलीफ क्या होता है कि उसको ऐसे होना चाहिए. My boss has to be the way he should be. That is the underlying that belief that you carry when you have a conversation with your boss, with your friend, with your spouse, or with a mate, or with a worker, or the co-worker or colleague. ये बैठा हुआ दिमाग में कि उसको तो ऐसे ही बिहेव करना चाहिए भाई साहब, यही तरीका होता है बिहेव करने का, और कोई तरीका ही नहीं है बात करने का, और कोई तरीका ही नहीं है काम करने का, क्योंकि मुझे पता है यही तरीका काम करता है, इसी तरीके ने काम किया, इसी तरीके ने रिजल्ट्स मुझे प्रोड्यूस किया, उसी तरीके से बात करनी चाहिए। अगर आपको जिंदगी में कामयाब होना है तो यू हैव गॉट टू बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल, यू गॉट टू बी अकाउंटेबल। So now you will argue, okay, yeah, this is a fact, यार, अकाउंटेबल तो होना ही पड़ेगा, रिस्पॉन्सिबल तो होना पड़ेगा, बट कंसिडर फॉर अ वाइल ये हमारा एक बिलीफ है कि सामने वाले को ऐसा होना चाहिए। अब उस बिलीफ के नीचे थर्ड स्टेप, मैं बहुत थोड़ा फास्ट जा रहा हूं बिकॉज हमारे पास टाइम कम है। थर्ड बिलीफ, थर्ड स्टेप क्या है? व्हाट इज द रियलिटी बिहाइंड इट? अगर सामने वाला व्यक्ति कुछ इस तरीके से बात मेरे से कर रहा है, पर्सन इज बिहेविंग द वे द पर्सन इज बिहेविंग, सो व्हाट इज द रियलिटी? I mean, is the person is really irresponsible? Is the person is really um, not understanding me, or your boss, or your spouse, or is this अंदर नहीं थी, उसके नीचे कुछ और है? सच्चाई क्या है? सच्चाई क्या है कि उसकी जिंदगी में भी कुछ चीजें चल रही हैं. Your boss is rejecting the ideas. He might be coming from the idea in the past. So many ideas hadn't worked, and company has been in the losses. So he might be rejecting this idea. Now consider the second situation. The maid at your workplace, the maid at your home, if she is acting irresponsible, और आपका belief है कि उसको responsible होना पड़ेगा, reality क्या है? Reality क्या है? She might not be aware that where the things are. She might not have worked. She might not have even asked, but you also have not given her training that these are the places that you can start looking at things and don't disturb me. You have not trained your environment. That's the reality. That's the reality check. तो पहला क्या है? पहला स्टेप क्या है? ट्रिगर, कि आपको कौन ट्रिगर करता है. सेकंड स्टेप क्या है? बिलीफ क्या है? और थर्ड, व्हाट इज द थर्ड स्टेप? What is the underlying reality here? Now comes the fourth step, which is the most interesting step in your growth journey, in your transformation journey, in your journey towards the next level, in creating the magic which is there with you, the transparent magic, the invisible magic which is there with you. Now hold your reins or whatever you may call. आप ध्यान से सुनना. It is very, 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 very critical. अब वो सामने वाला व्यक्ति आपको एक आईना दिखा रहा है, आपको एक मैजिकल आईना दिखा रहा है कि आप कहाँ कहाँ पे अपने एरिया में irresponsible हो. If you see the person who is irresponsible, who is acting irresponsibly, if you see the other person who is nagging consistently, if you see the person who's rejecting your ideas, where in your life you are doing the same thing for or within yourself. आप अपने क्षेत्र में, अपने एरिया में कहां कहां पर ऐसा सेम कार्य अपने साथ कर रहे हो? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आपने कहा कि वो व्यक्ति इररिस्पॉन्सिबल है, पर्सन इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी इज इररिस्पॉन्सिबल, नाउ इन योर फिजिकल डोमेन, where are you irresponsible? Are you taking a good care of your diet? Are you doing enough exercises? Are you doing good understanding about doing enough workouts, whatever? That is the first physical aspect. अगर वो सामने वाला व्यक्ति irresponsible नहीं होता, the person have not been irresponsible, you not having shown that mirror that this is the area that you need to work on yourself. And the second is your mental or your thought area. अगर सामने वाला व्यक्ति हमारे को nag करे, the person in front of me who is consistently shouting and nagging at me, you got to see yourself, where in my area I am nagging my own self. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. You have self-doubt about yourself. You don't have self-belief about yourself. You don't know how to do. You keep on having these conversations, despite of having the best talent, despite of the powerful being who you are, despite of the magnificent being who you are, you're the most wonderful person on this earth with your own capabilities. You're still doubting yourself and nagging yourself and saying, I am not good enough. So if the person had not been nagging you, if your spouse is not nagging you, if your boss has not been rejecting your ideas, how would you, in this earth, you would come to know that you're also rejecting your own self, your own capability, you're rejecting your own magnificent being. This is the mirror the person is showing to you, and that is an automatic process. And you will get many opportunities like this day in and day out. You don't have to look for feedbacks outside of yourself. You see every day whether you're dealing with small people to big people in your life, won't you? The person is acting as mirror, and so you can so and so forth. You can see your social ideas, or so and so forth. You can see your financial area when you're not disciplined, when you have a complaint about people that people are not disciplined. You'll see yourself where in your area you are not disciplined in the area of your finances. Now, there can be many people who would not get such people outside, who will not give that trigger to them. That means the person have already worked on that particular area. But there can be many areas others as well. So that is something that you can see. The person acting in the front of you is a mirror for you. So people are not bad. People are not uh, irresponsible. People are not nagging. People are the way people are. People are the way people are. And you got to see for yourself what is the opportunity for me for my own personal growth, so that that magic which is there with me, I can see that magic and grow with that. So everyone else around you is just giving you a feeling that the person are acting, so that I become powerful, I become better in life. Now, I'm not asking you that you become egoistic about it, but all I'm saying, when you have problems with people, when you have problems with government departments, when you have problems with the safai karamchari outside, with the problems with the corruption outside, तो आप एक ही चीज सोचिए, कहाँ कहाँ पे मैं भी अपनी जिंदगी में करप्शन कर रहा हूँ, कहाँ कहाँ पे जो लोग बिहेव कर रहे हैं, गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर से भी इरेस्पॉन्सिबल बिहेव कर रहे हैं, कहाँ कहाँ पे मैं भी ये चीज सेम कर रहा हूँ. So you're not getting, I'm not saying they don't take action on that. I'm not saying you don't do anything about it, but go and do everything about it after you work on yourself. पहले अपने पर काम कर लो, पहले कॉन्फिडेंट बन जाओ. Once you become confident in your area and you become powerful and confident by working deep within yourself, that is after that you can start working what is there for you going forward. So these are the 4 steps of moving forward and becoming and living a magical life. But here's not the end. If you want to move even further, the step number 5 is start working on yourself. Create a daily plan, create a daily ritual, and start doing on that, working on that. अब आईने के एग्जाम्पल से कोट याद आ गया, हिंदी में कोट है वो बताना चाहता हूं. तो कोट क्या बोलता है कि उम्र भर गुनाह ये मैं करता गया, उम्र भर गुनाह गालिब ये करता गया, कि धूल खुद पर थी और आईना साफ करता. कि मुझ पे धूल है और मुझे क्या लगता है आईने में गड़बड़. आईना कौन है? पीपल अराउंड यू, सिचुएशंस अराउंड यू, एंड पीपल हु आर बिहेविंग इररिस्पॉन्सिबली. वो आईना है आपके लिए, और आप उन्हीं को चेंज करने में लगे. मुझे तो वर्ल्ड को चेंज करना है बाबा, मैंने तो पूरा एक बीड़ा उठाया हुआ है, मुझे तो दुनिया को चेंज करना है. I don't want to name that politician, which is going to be, which is a recorded place. But मैं देखता हूँ कि हमारे यहाँ पे कुछ कुछ ऐसे पॉलिटिशियन हैं, स्पेसिफिकली दिल्ली एनसीआर में, जिन्होंने बीड़ा उठाया हुआ कि मुझे दुनिया को बदलना है, मुझे सिस्टम को बदलना है, मुझे तो लोग खराब हैं, गवर्नमेंट खराब है, मुझे तो ये करना है वो करना है। अरे बाबा, आपने पहले अपने ऊपर काम किया क्या? पहले आपने अपना सिस्टम अच्छा बनाया क्या? इफ यू क्रिएट योर ओन सिस्टम in a better way, you can work and work around, work for your environment in much better way. So पहले तो अपना एक सिस्टम बना लो, पहले तो एक फाउंडेशन ठीक बना लो, उसके बाद आप बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं। निसर्गदत्त महाराज सेज spiritually when you seek कि you are what you see। आप जो देख रहे हो वो आप हो। तो अगर आप कुछ और देखना, आप कुछ और बनना चाहते हो तो कुछ और देखना शुरू कर दो। तो आप वो हो। आपको अगर ये नजर आ रहा है कि दुनिया खराब है तो फिर कहीं ना कहीं आपको अपने पर काम करना होता है। लेकिन अगर आप देख रहे हो कि वर्ल्ड इज सच अ ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस, सो दैट मीन्स यू आर ऑलरेडी वर्किंग ऑन योर सेल्फ। नाउ दैट डज नॉट मीन दैट मेरा आपका काम खत्म हो गया। कि अगर आप दुनिया आपको कुछ फीडबैक दे रही है तो मेरे को कुछ नहीं करना, आपको अपने आप ही थॉट आएंगे। यू गेट योर थॉट इमीडिएटली what need to work. If I cannot change the word, then what needs to be done? You will get an ideas because people are work in progress. People are working progress. People are having their own journey. So उनको नहीं पता। You know, my boss always says he's a very deep intelligent. I have never seen such not boss, I mean the person whom I'm working with. वो मुझे बोलते हैं, Vinay, if you're a sales consultant, you cannot blame why sales professionals are not giving you sales performance. The problem lies with you that you have not trained them enough to become powerful. The टीचर कभी ये ब्लेम ना करे कि मेरे बच्चे सुनते नहीं है, पढ़ते नहीं है। आप ऐसा क्या करते हो जिसकी वजह से बच्चे नहीं पढ़ते और सुनते? So this is a very powerful statement I get from my director, that you got to work deeply with your sales team and enhance your performance and go deep down. So responsibility comes with me, not with them. And so forth. Whenever you see that my company is not giving me much for growth, you got to see for yourself, what are you personally not giving for your own self, for your own personal growth? Are you not learning enough? Are you learning enough? Or are you just keeping your heads down and blaming and complaining? So you got to choose for yourself which life that you want to give, you want to get. Give and get. दोगे तो वही मिलने वाला। That is step number 5. You start working on yourself, create a daily ritual plan, learning and growth plan based on what you have understood. And then last thing is, how would you ensure? How would you ensure that you really work? What is the parameter? What is the evidence that you have really worked on yourself? If you start seeing people from a different light, same people who were nagging, who were rejecting your ideas, who were behaving irresponsibly, now you see those people have changed. Suddenly you see these people are behaving differently. Here you go. You have got transformed. When you have transformed, those people would be seen by you as transformed beings. Only by you. हो सकता है उनके बारे में दुनिया कुछ और सोचता हूँ, उनको कुछ और काम करना। This is the journey. This is the magic that you have with you. This is the automatic feedback mechanism the universe has already provided. This is the बढ़िया सी व्यवस्था आपको पहले से मिली हुई है, यूनिवर्स ने दी हुई है कि आपको जहां जहां पे शिकायतें हैं, wherever you have complaints in your life, here you go, you got to work on yourself in that specific area. And I've seen in my life, I've grown in my life like that. You know, I've seen people who were started, you know, giving me, logical or illogical advices or logical or started nagging me. तो मुझे लगता था कि मैं अपने पर काम नहीं कर रहा हूँ. When I started working on myself, I got tremendous results in my life. And similarly, lot many times, when after working on myself since last many years, लोग मुझे फिर भी बोलते हैं, यार विनय यार, तुम्हें कुछ भी नहीं आता, तुम्हें कुछ भी नहीं किया जिंदगी में यार, तुम फालतू के ड्रामे करते हो, तुम फालतू के स्पिरिचुअली बातें करते हो, तुम्हें आता कुछ नहीं है, कुछ नहीं करते। तो पहला लगता है झटका यार, मैं इतना कुछ किया फिर भी वो बोलते हैं, क्या मुझे प्रूव करना चाहिए, क्या मुझे उनकी एविडेंस चाहिए? नहीं। यस विनय, मैंने कुछ नहीं किया। दिस इज समथिंग आई कीप टॉकिंग टू माई सेल्फ एंड nag माई सेल्फ, दैट इज ऑल्सो अ hindrance for my growth. Then I start working on that particular. So yes, this is never ending journey of your own growth and development, even in the last breath of your life. You got to work on yourself. And if you think that you have worked on yourself, तो आप समझ जाओ कि अभी बहुत काम करने की जरूरत है, क्योंकि ये जिंदगी सिर्फ एक ही समय खत्म होगी। पर ये जो ग्रोथ जर्नी है और डेवलपमेंट जर्नी सिर्फ एक ही जगह पे खत्म करनी होगी, और वो होगी आपकी फ्यूनरल पे और आप निगम बोध, और कहीं नहीं होने वाला। और जब तक आप जीवित हो, इफ यू आर अलाइव, that means you got to grow. You still have a lot of capabilities and potential to grow. Yes, you have to stop yourself at the right time. You got to stop, think, and act. आपको कई बार रुकना पड़ता है जिंदगी में, एकदम भागना नहीं पड़ता आपको, कई वो भी आपकी ग्रोथ की जर्नी है, बट यू आर ऑलवेज ऑन द ग्रोथ पाथ. So with this note, I've said enough. I've given you 5 steps. I want to repeat it. The first step is you got to find that trigger. What exactly is the trigger you get on a day-to-day basis? आपको ढूंढने की जरूरत नहीं है, आपको मिल जाएगा, रोज ही मिल जाएगा, सुबह से शाम तक आपको बहुत triggers मिल जाएंगे. You don't have to search for it. The first thing is trigger. The second is the belief about that complaint. The third is the reality behind it. The fourth is the mirror exercise that you got to do. And the best way to do the mirror exercise is to start writing it down or jotting it down. And the fifth is start working and create a daily ritual plan of how you're going to work on this particular area. Maybe if it is a physical area, you got to work on a specific plan. And you have a daily diet routine or a physical or exercise routine. Or if you have a financial area that you want to work, stop criticizing yourself. I'm not good enough in my finances. Instead, start working on it and see what's available for you and start working on that. Because that is the constant feedback that people are going to provide at you. और आपको अपने पर काम करना. Yes, you are a powerful being. You got to understand this perfectly. Third is, then next is the last step is how would you get that evidence that you've really worked on yourself? If you still see people complaining in the complaint mode, still see people who are looking like very irresponsible, that means you still have to work on yourself. And this is never ending, continuous journey, right? So with this note, I want to end my talk. Enough of speaking, and let me hear from you if you have further questions or if you have further thoughts about this topic, of based on whatever you know or based upon whatever you don't know, but based on whatever you have listened in this conversation. So please go ahead and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinay. It was really wonderful for summing it up, all it up in 5 steps. I think it was great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone has any question or you want to share your experiences?
Yes, you can unmute yourself or you can do a chat conversation. If you have any ideas, you have more better ideas, please go ahead and share. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vinay ji. You have provided lots of the insight, और I would like to say कि आपने तो बताया lots of thing, लेकिन even one thing that is the mirror exercise, कि हम अपने आप को ही सुधारना शुरू कर दें, और इसी के साथ आई विल से कि हम अपने आप से ईमानदार हो जाए कि हम कहाँ पर गलती कर रहे हैं। अगर ये 2 चीज़ भी वी हैव स्टार्टेड टू डू, तो मुझे नहीं लगता है कि इसमें कहीं से भी हमारे डेवलपमेंट में मतलब हम रुकेंगे, और हम हमेशा ग्रो ही करते जाएँगे। So thank you for wonderful session. Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Thank you so much for really understanding this topic. Yeah. Yes. Anybody else?
Minuji has written a comment. She's a listener today.
Sorry?
Minuji has put something in chat box.
Okay. I think she must have written privately to you.
Oh, yeah. She's saying I'm a listener today.
Okay, you are okay. You can choose to be a listener. That's fine. As long as you understand the topic, as long as you don't have any further questions,
Mm.
so that's okay with me. That's perfectly fine with me. So, yeah, if nobody has any further conversation or anything to say, then we must close this. This is a Sunday morning, so you must have your own chores at
So,
home.
yeah, I would like to add a
Yeah,
question.
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, so as
Can you come on video? Can you spotlight yourself?
not right now. I just want to just ask a question. Thank you for allowing me. Yeah. So, sometimes when you are, uh, when you are looking at the mirror and you are confronting the situation, so it can be very confronting, and for most people.
Yes.
And so, what is the simple steps or the first step, maybe? Because it could be many area where you may want to work, some of the areas you don't want to work. There can still be resistance, right? So how to begin that journey, and what is the first few steps, if you can say? So you have given the entire process in the 5 steps, but what are the first initial step to begin with, like easier one?
Okay. So, okay. मुझे एक आप स्टोरी रिमाइंड करी थी. तो एक फादर अपने बच्चे के लिए ना बहुत पैसा कमाता है, पूरी जिंदगी भर तक कमाता है वैसा, और बहुत कुछ उसके लिए इकट्ठा करता है. और वो ये सोचता है कि जो मैंने दिक्कतें हासिल की हैं और दिक्कतें मुझे मिली अपनी जिंदगी में, वो मेरे बेटे को ना मिले, सब कुछ को कंफर्ट मिले, सब कुछ कंफर्ट मिले उसको, सब कुछ. तो उसने अपने बेटे को बोलता है, बेटा तुम्हें कुछ भी चाहिए ना, तो बटन यहाँ पे बाजू में पड़ा हुआ, बटन को दबा. तूने बाहर जाना है, बटन दबाना. तूने कोई खाना खाना है, बटन दबाना. तूने तेरे को वो चीज चाहिए, बटन दबाना. तेरे को कोई प्लेन में जाना है तो बटन दबाना, अपने आप ही गाड़ी आ जाएगी तेरे को उसी जगह से उठा करके चली जाएगी. तो सब सिर्फ एक बटन दबाना है, मेरे पास सब कुछ है. तो उसके बेटे ने उससे एक सवाल पूछा कि आप जानते हैं वो सवाल क्या था? सवाल,
No.
उसके बेटे ने सवाल पूछा, पापा ये तो सब ठीक है, पर बटन कौन दबाएगा? बटन कौन दबाएगा? So, so to really
I
work on yourself, so if you really want to work on yourself, अगर आप अपने ऊपर काम करना चाहते हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं तो शुरुआत आपको करनी होगी. कहीं ना कहीं तो ये कमिटमेंट करनी पड़ेगी, मुझे अपने ऊपर काम करना. मैंने फ्रेमवर्क दिया, गिवन योर फ्रेमवर्क. I thought it is a simple framework, but yes. So I give you something which I've learned in my spiritual life. Whenever you are uncomfortable, whenever you are not feeling good, that is the first thing that you go to understand. That is the first reminder that you have to have. Then I have to work on myself. पहला तो ये विचार आना
Mhm.
कि मुझे अपने पर काम करना है. तो शबाना, अगर ये थॉट नहीं आता ना कि मुझे अपने पर काम करना है कभी जिंदगी में, तब तो कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता है, किसी के लिए कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता. You cannot do anything. The first thought that has to come is, yes, I have to work on my own self.
Yeah.
And then the next step is that कि फीलिंग ऑफ डिस्कम्फर्ट. एंड अब वो डिस्कम्फर्ट कुछ भी हो सकता है. मतलब आप अपने आप बैठे हो तो भी अनकंफर्टेबल हो सकते हो. आप कहीं किसी मीटिंग में बैठे हो, आप अनकंफर्टेबल हो सकते हो. आप कहीं भी जाके अनकंफर्टेबल हो सकते हो. सो वो डिस्कम्फर्ट आपको ट्रिगर देता है, हाँ अभी आपको यहाँ पे काम करने की जरूरत है. तो दे आर बोथ वेज. वन इज, आर यू रियली रेडी टू वर्क ऑन योरसेल्फ? देन यू कैन स्टार्ट वर्किंग योरसेल्फ एंड यू विल गेट द होल फॉर्मूला ऑफ 5 steps. अगर फिर भी वो भी नहीं याद रहता, तो ये जान जाओ कि जहां पर भी आप अनकंफर्टेबल हो, इसका मतलब अभी यू आर वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस. लेट्स से यू सी फॉर योरसेल्फ कि आई हैव डन इनफ, बट माय टीम इज नॉट डूइंग इनफ. आई वर्कड हार्ड टू बिल्ड दिस बिजनेस एम्पायर, बट माय सेल्स टीम एम आई वो नहीं कर रही है, और वो आपको अनकंफर्टेबल फीलिंग बना रही है, अनकंफर्टेबल फीलिंग दे रही है. इसका मतलब आपको अपने पर काम करना. तो वो भी एक रिमाइंडर है. लेट्स से आप सोच रहे हो कि मेविन कॉन्शियसली पॉजिटिव प्रोग्राम प्लेटफॉर्म बड़ा होना चाहिए और वो अनकंफर्टेबल फीलिंग दे रहा है, इसका मतलब अभी आपको अपने ऊपर काम करना है। अगर किसी ने आपको आपने किसी को कॉल किया या आपने किसी टीम डिसाइड किया तो वो उसने टीम में रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं किया or uncomfortable feeling, that means you have to work on this. So there can be many triggers. So the quick answer to you is the two answers. One is you have to be willing to improve. The second answer is start looking at triggers of discomfort. और discomfort आपको कहीं ना कहीं होगा, कहीं ना कहीं होगा।
Yeah. So
और
my,
जब वो
I
discomfort
think,
होगा,
yeah. So what I was asking was like the next step. So the thing is, ki, like we all are work in progress, and definitely that's why we are all discussing this. What we are saying is ki, when the situation, when we have decided we are working on it, when we are okay with all this discomfort, and then when you look into the situation, it could be very overwhelming for most people. Like, so given the people like who are already in the inquiry for years, so it might be easier versus someone who starts looking at the situation and then they find, okay, there are so many triggers, so many discomfort, and it can be overwhelming. So what is the, like, what is the simple action that they can do to, to deal with that discomfort?
the simple action is पहले action, simple action नहीं होता है. Now there is an action plan. There are two questions that you have. कि वो मुझे मैसेज कैसे मिलेगा, वो डिस्कम्फर्ट का मैसेज मिलेगा, मैंने बताया. सेकंड इज दैट हाउ वुड यू वर्क. नाउ दिस हैज टू बी अ कंप्लीट action plan for your transformation, which probably you can have a coach by your side, or you can have a trainer by your side, or you can attend your related area of learning and get your expertise, and you can have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, you can hire a coach who can give you that plan, and you can progress further. This is all I can say. It's a simple मुझे तो समझ नहीं.
Yes, yes.
I'm
No,
not
no,
able
it
to.
is. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you everyone. Thank you for being here. God bless you and have a wonderful Sunday. Bye bye.